Anybody can join whenever they want. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up?
What's up?
Welcome to the show, baby. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, I got
Yeah.
my boy Junsen here. I got Kevin
What's
over
up?
here. I haven't spoken to him in ages.
Hi.
And I got my new
Hi.
buddy over here, Teddy Keys. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been wanting to talk about this topic for ages. By the way, I cannot curse the first 2 minutes, apparently algorithm. So we've been trying to do this music show for a long time. We have a lot of friends who are musicians, and many of them have been struggling doing the MCO. Today, I got Kevin and Teddy, who are full-time musicians. They're going to talk to us about what's been going on in these past 2 years. Kevin, I tell you what, now I want to go with Teddy. Teddy, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us where you are, where you've been playing.
All right, hold on. Can I try, because I'm not using anything. I would like to try and use my headphone. Whether if I use my headphone, you guys can hear me clearly or not,
Yeah,
right?
okay,
We
sure.
can hear you
We can hear
pretty
you well
clear right
now
now.
also, actually. But you can try it, yeah.
Let's see whether it sounds better or not.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll go first
Ah,
then. My
Kevin,
name is Kevin. I'm originally from KL, but now I live in Penang and I work at the Penang House of Music. The Penang House of Music, it's a music gallery which showcases the history of Penang's music from 1960 to 1970. I also play the electric bass, I play the guitar, I'm a singer-songwriter. And recently, I've started streaming with the Penang Musicians Unite. It is a Persatuan Pemuzik Pulau Pinang, where we open up an online stage for musicians, performers, singers, anybody who wants to perform, an online stage, and we put like a tip jar, a virtual tip jar where people can make contributions while the musician is performing every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evening. Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evening, okay.
yeah.
Teddy,
Yeah.
tell us,
Right.
sorry, tell us about yourself.
Okay, is my audio clear? Can you guys hear me
Yes.
clearly
Clear.
now?
Extremely clear.
Then okay, and I can hear you guys well with the headphone now.
Okay, nice.
I don't want to set up through my mixer or whatever leceh lah. Okay, anyway, guys, my name is Teddy Iskandar, right? I'm a musician who's supposedly supposed to be based in KL. I'm a full-time musician. I don't do anything else, right? So I'm a full-time musician. Have not been doing anything at all for the past. Actually, before the pandemic, because I'm a diabetic. I got diabetes, right? So I'm a diabetic. So what I did was, on the eve of 2020, right? On the eve of that was supposed to be my last performance, because I had some health issues due to me being not taking care of myself well, being a diabetic, right? So I'm not controlling my sugar, my diet. I'm a musician, you see. So I have a lot of temptations. I do not deny that, right? So so my sugar level was high, and I took a break, right? And coincidentally, a couple of months after that, maybe about 2.5 months after that, the pandemic, struck Malaysia hard. So coincidentally, during that, I was taking a break, and it happened. So that's about it. That's that's the whole story of what's going on with me.
Teddy, last time, before the MCO hit, how many days in a week were you playing? Performing?
Okay, I used to work in contract gigs, right, during my younger years, right? So as I grew older, I find that it's much more convenient for me to work on gigs. Firstly, I can manage my own time. Secondly, it's actually you get paid more actually on gigs basis, So it's up to me. I have worked 7 days a week, I have worked 7 days a week. But once a few years back, I was diagnosed as a tuberculosis patient. That was about 5 years back, I think. So I had to cut down most of my gigs. So normally, I think four days for a working musician like me, I'm happy if I get 4 days a week. I'm very happy with that.
But mind if I ask, Teddy, what kind of instruments do you play?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you guys. I'm a keyboardist. I play the
keyboard.
keyboard.
Nice. Okay, continue, please.
Yeah.
Keyboard, okay.
Right. So yeah, for me as a working musician, I'm lucky in a sense that I'm old. So meaning that my daughters, they are on their own, meaning that I don't have to financially help them much as like they were children before, right? So they my daughter is doing her masters and also working with Maybank at the same time. So financially, I'm not that heavy on that kind of thing on my financial burdens. I don't have a lot of overheads, which is fine with me. I'm lucky. I'm not the kind of person who owns cars, credit cards. I'm lucky for that. I managed to control my emotions, my financial emotions. So only my medications, my house rent, my minor, small expenses, right? Which okay, that we'll talk about that later. To get back to the story of how long, how many days I'm working before. There were times when okay, as for me, when I choose to work, right, I choose to work on days where I know who will be on stage with me. If I think that person, I mean that group of people, normally I work with friends. Normally, unless emergency, people ask for help for replacement, then I'll help. But I do not like it because I actually I don't, because sometimes I'm not familiar with the repertoire. When it comes to replacement, it's just like you just come in and plug and play. You don't enjoy yourself because you're not comfortable with the repertoire. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how the band is going to deliver the song, how the arrangement will be. So it's based on your experience on how you're going to adapt on that night, you see. So for me, when it comes to my working days, normally I will ask who's playing with me, who'll be playing tonight. So if I know that the group of people that I'll be playing with on that particular night is gonna make me smile and laugh the whole day, I don't mind. I like it. I love it. It's all about fun now. Because the stress of working, like before, I work to earn money. Because I have my, to feed my family and stuff like that.
Yep.
So now, as I grow older, especially, sorry to say, I divorced for the past 12 years. So
He's living alone,
there's one,
Teddy.
yes, in a way,
Okay. Okay. Right.
right? So I play for fun now. Money is important too, but I need to know who I'm playing with. Do I play with the right kind of people for that day? Do I know the people? Do I know the repertoire? Do I know the songs? I don't want to just play for the sake of money, and yet I'm going to disappoint the band members on stage, But normally, no. I always work with friends, the people that I'm comfortable with. Because the gigs in KL, I mean, the gigs that I'm into, normally is a plug and play thing. There's no rehearsal.
Okay.
So everybody has to be
Good.
on that, yeah, on
On
that
the
level,
ball. So
Yeah, they
Teddy, if
have
you
to be.
if you do four times a week, roughly around how much can you earn?
Um, okay. It depends on, that's why I said,
Mm.
I am lucky enough that I am able to play with good musicians, uh these friends of mine, for me I'm happy with whatever amount that I get paid. Normally it's between 300 to for my rate. I don't ask, but normally they will pay me for what they think I deserve. So they'll pay me about 300 to 450, 500. It depends. 500 is very, very seldom, it's very, very seldom. 300 to 400 is the normal rate that I get. So I'm happy with that.
Okay. So there's not really much actually, to be honest.
You're
It's
talking about per night. If you get about 300, let's say it's about 1,002 per week.
yeah, it's a hard living, and that is also if right. Sometimes you
Yeah.
get four times a week. Sometimes you might get twice a week or two times a week, right?
Normally, averagely, I will go for four.
Mm.
Averagely, I will go for four.
Mm. So
I
so
will
then
try as much as I can. Yeah, I will try as much as I can to get 4 a week at least.
oh, wait. So then since the MCO hit, obviously no live band. Even when they started opening up restaurants and all that and said you can play, the guys were not really keen because you cannot gather. So these past 2 years must have been hell.
Madness. madness, crazy. Seriously, it's really, really madness and crazy. But as I say, I'm lucky that I don't have a very big overhead for me to cover every month. You know,
Mm.
so I'm lucky. What is important for me is being a diabetic. Is my meds, which is actually covered by the government, right?
Mm.
Uh, so what I need to spend on is my needles for my insulin, my alcohol swab, and also my supplements, right? And okay, that's the thing. The rest of the thing is my expenses will be my house rent, um, normal daily expenses. I don't spend much. I have everything that I need for now. You know, I have to live with whatever that I have right now. But luckily, in a way that I have people around me who's supportive of me, who's been helping me actually financially and also emotionally. So I am blessed. Actually, I'm very, very blessed. I'm very blessed.
So was it difficult staying at home? Because just before this, I'm actually kind of running out of time because we had trouble getting in later. So I will
Yeah,
quickly sort of end this and then start a new one before I jump into Kevin. Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
can you go?
Okay.
So just very quickly, it must have been very difficult for you sitting down at home this past year, 2 years, not being able to play, not being able to be on stage, listen to some nice music, be with your friends.
Okay. So let me tell you for the past 2 years what I've been doing, right? For the past 2 years, I jump around. I'm not gonna say how. I'm gonna say how I do it. I jump around. I stay in my mom's place in JB for a while. Okay. I'm basically from JB. That's my hometown. So my family is there. My mom, my brothers, my sisters, right? They're based in JB. I am based in KL, right? But I spend a lot of my time recently in Penang, right? So what I'll do is I'll jump. If I'm bored in JB for a while, I'll jump to KL for a night or two just to go back to my house and see what's happening to my house. Then I'll jump to Penang for another week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. Then I'll go back to KL another night or two. Then I'll go back to JB. That's what I do. That's what I do to fill my time. And then when I'm bored, I'll go live stream. No, not still live. Sometimes I go live. Sometimes I do my nonsense. I do some funny, funny skits on FB. Sometimes I post my songs. I do
Yeah.
some. Yeah, that's
On
what I do.
FB.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
I
I'll
just
check it out later. You give me the link. I'll
yeah,
put
I
it in
just
this
do.
video.
I'll do some stupid stuff. I do a lot of songs. I'm not a singer, but
Mhm.
because of this thing, I have been practicing a lot of my singing. I do stuff that I like to do. Sing songs from the 80s. I'm 50, so 80s is where the time I grew up. And there's a lot of nice songs from the 80s. So that's what I do. I do my backing track, I record, I just play around, I post. That's what I do to fill my time.
Oh.
And I'll put my account number there. You very, very seldom you get some contributions. You know, sometimes you get $5, sometimes you get $30. Once in a while you get $100, but very, very, very seldom. Maybe out of 20 posting, maybe you get less than $100, maybe. But I don't do it for money. I just do it for the fun of it because I know I cannot make money through my online postings or even my online live streams. I know that. I'm doing it for the fun, for the love of music. That's what I do.
Oh, so that's how you've been keeping busy, yeah? Man, it
That's
seems
why.
it seems how do I say? It's a total opposite of what musicians usually do. You're always out,
What?
you're always late, and you're always entertaining. You're always surrounded by people. You're always surrounded by music. If a musician is
Mhm.
not surrounded by these two things,
Don't be a
I mean,
musician.
you can play music for yourself, keep you happy. I'm not saying you can't do that, but it seems
Yeah.
like a total 360. So it's nice to get like your perspective. And just before I move to Kevin, I'm just going to start that new video. Let me hit you all up, okay?
Mm.
So we'll
Am
record.
I am,
All right.
am I
So
back in again?
you're in. We are
Yeah.
all in. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now
Okay.
I just
Good.
want to move. I want to move quickly to Kevin. So Kevin, okay, you're around our age and whatever demographics and all that. What's happening in Penang now? The scene is dead, I'm sure. And you said you were
Yeah,
doing some things just now.
yeah, a lot of bars. Okay, as a musician, so at night I play music. Daytime I work in a music museum. So at night most of the pubs or hotel lounges has ceased hiring performers, and I think a lot of musicians have moved to either a food business or running a delivery line work or delivery service. But there is a group of musicians and a small group of musicians and sound and light team has it worst. Although there's this live streaming avenues and stuff like that, but most of them have gone into the food business. There is a famous um, bar or performance space called Deluvis. He's actually started working more on his kitchen. It's almost a one-man show. He cooks all this beautiful food. I'm sure you know him, Teddy. His name is Kelvin Deluvi.
Of
He
course.
Mhm.
he's done like so much for the musicians in Penang, providing a space to perform, especially people like Teddy, Gary, Ray Rosales has performed there. But now he's forced to do like a food business, which he's trying very hard every day. He's always on the edge, but he still soldiers on and to survive lah, basically, so that up until he can open up again, because he was previously in a different space, and then after he moved to this new place which was a bit bigger, and has a very nice place, doesn't disturb anybody, doesn't have to worry about the noise getting out, and the pandemic hit, so it's been hard on him lah, I believe. For me, I after work I will go and play in a hotel lobby called Jazz Hotel. That hotel has since ceased operations since the first MCO.
Damn.
So yeah, we I used to play there maybe like four to five times a week.
Big hotel lah,
But
bro.
of course, huh?
Big hotel lah.
It's a new hotel lah. Basically, it was a very strange place for hotels, opposite Tesco,
Mm.
and it was quite far away from town. But the
Mm.
theme is called Jazz Hotel, so it's very nice. Everything is like jazz theme and nice chairs and all that. They had a
Mm.
club on the 17th floor. But what happened was we were asked to play like maybe once or twice a week. And then every night they have different musicians. So maybe I played there at the most twice a week. And because it was kind of like a semi-contract thing, I was getting about maybe 150 a night. But it was all in good fun because the rest of us also had day jobs. So at night was just a chance for us to play together lah. I played with a wonderful band called the Wild Marigolds.
Mm.
But since then, we actually like, I think after the first episode, we decided, hey, let's do a Christmas special lah. So I got out all my recording equipment, went to one of our friend's house, and we did a mini concert, like a showcase. I think 4 songs, and we put it up on YouTube and our Instagram page.
YouTube.
And that was that, just to be able to play with each other, because that time the SOPs and the number of cases were not too high. So we had that opportunity to at least gather in our own houses to just perform with each other. So that was nice. Apart from that, after when we started becoming more isolated, I mean the case number started going even higher. So we eventually stopped playing with each other. Sometimes we will try to meet or do stuff online where I will record something, get the drummer to record something, and then I'll put it together, put it in a video, and then put it up onto our Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, just to have some content that we are playing together, just because we like playing with each other. But even that also was difficult to do with internet speed. Everybody's at home, right? So bandwidth is limited. So
Ah.
in the end, we started turning to live streaming, because it seemed like live streaming was the most direct content we could have with an audience other than just us, because all the previous stuff that we did before then was like you don't have that live engagement lah, so to speak. So I started looking at live streaming, but thankfully while I was at work, we were also looking at documenting like the performers. I mean, we talk about people our age, like born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s kind of thing. But
Mm.
there in Penang especially, there are a number of musicians who are well into their 80s, and up until the pandemic hit were still performing every night. People like William Scully, Bonnie Jeremiah, Landon Jeremiah. All these are stalwarts of Penang music and Penang music history. They are living legends basically. These guys all just played based on what they hear and what they know, and they played with each other for many a year. And many of them like traveled overseas, went to Australia, Thailand, and came back. And now the ones that are here are supposedly in retirement, but not really a retirement when you can't play your music, like the one thing that you love, right?
Yeah.
So So
More like
at
put in
Penang House of
prison.
Music,
Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
no problem. So at Penang House of Music, we started documenting their story. So you'll find a lot of stuff that they did, like from the 80s or 70s, people like Sweet September, Alley Cats, Equinox, all these bands are from the 60s, 70s, 80s, right? And that was the part where we looked at their past. Then we started producing or recording content of them performing again together after not being together for a very long time. One of these people is called SM Idrus. He's initially from, I can't remember, Kedah. He was from out of Penang. And his first instrument was the accordion. And he came to Penang because he wanted to, and because where he was at the time, I think it was either Kulim, Kedah, or Seremban. I can't remember. It wasn't much of a future that you could have by playing music there. He was in a
Hmm.
traveling group of musicians that played Boria at the time, or even Asli Music played the accordion, right?
Awesome.
So when he came to Penang, that was when he found his voice, and he's a crooner as well. So from playing the accordion, he had an uncle here. He went to his uncle's house and just try and play la piano, because accordion is like this, piano is like this. So he just tried, and then he kind of like picked it up. Not very fantastic, but enough to accompany him singing. And that was when he found his voice, started doing recordings with RTM Penang, Mutiara FM, and basically got a name for himself in the 70s or 80s lah. Up until now, he's considered one of the judges for like Borea performances or stuff like that lah. He's somebody lah, basically. But
Hmm.
now at the age of 82, 83 now,
Oh, hello. Huh.
he couldn't perform lah. Up until the pandemic hit, he was playing at Rasa Sayang in Shangri-La there. He
Yeah.
was the lounge pianist. So on and off,
Uh.
he would play there. At least some money lah. Similar to Teddy, he didn't have too many what do you call this, high overheads. But at the same time, now you cannot go to a establishment and you want a pianist is tough lah for him, especially 82. And he's not technologically savvy.
Hmm.
He just has a normal
Hmm.
Nokia phone. So that's why we started recording these guys, to at least get the interaction and let people know that these people are still around. They're not dead yet. I mean, they're 82, man. I hope I live to 70 lah, at least.
No, I feel that.
Then
You're absolutely right.
yeah, and these are just some of the things that we do. But since the pandemic hit, live streaming was even more difficult, because everything is like very isolated. You can't record people. You're only allowed to shoot. That's the SOP, right? You're only allowed to shoot one person performing, so that limits your live streaming possibilities lah. So unless you are one body that has 10 hands to play 10 different instruments, then you're good lah. But again, I think there are also other aspects that have come up, like live streaming is not just an FB now. You have the Bigo app, you have Tango, you have so many different stuff
Sessions.
lah. Yeah, Sessions
Oh,
Live.
sessions. Oh, sorry. What is sessions?
Sessions Live is also a streaming app, but it's for
Oh,
musicians. Very,
oh.
very tuned for that.
Teddy, you use
But
that also?
Okay, frankly speaking, sorry, I have to cut you off for a while, Kevin. Okay, a lot of people suggested me to go to Tango and Sessions Live and stuff like that, right? But I don't call myself a singer, you see, so I don't have the confidence to, no, they say I'm ready. But I personally, I don't have the confidence. For me, when I want to go to a certain platform like that, right? When people pay you, I expect myself to be good. If I'm not, I feel so humble knowing all the big names like Gerard, Sherman, or the Vishnu and all these big names. They asked me to join sessions and Tango, Daniel, but they say that it's a good platform to earn some money. But I'm not a singer. They say I can do it, but I'm not a singer. I feel so humble being with all these people, so I don't think I am there. That's why I'm not into platform. What I'll do is I'll just browse on Facebook just for the fun of it. I am actually, what I'm doing, I'm building my confidence in Facebook. I'm building my repertoire. I'm building my confidence, I hope to be with them at the level. Who knows, maybe in a week, a month, I'll be joining them soon. Right.
Thank
Kevin,
you.
sorry.
So I feel I'm glad I asked you. So now I see how difficult it is. Kevin, go ahead.
yeah, so talking about live streaming, right? So apart from all these other platforms, similar to what Teddy is saying, a lot of musicians have this challenge as well because we are our worst critics lah. Uh, we can get all the
Mm.
support in the world, but if we are not comfortable, we don't do it. Why? Because we do it for the love of it. So what I'm also helping out now is that there is this Penang Musicians Unite. It's part of the Penang's Persatuan Pemuzik Pulau Pinang. So we have an association. We've been running what do you call this? Kind of like an open stage where people can sign up with the host, which is me, Prem, and
Mm.
Chris. And every Friday, Saturday, we have a night show, 8:30 to 10. Slots are open for people to come and perform. And whoever is performing, we will actually help to take care of the back end, meaning to say like to highlight their bank account details or talk to the guests who are online. And we also feature, because like we use a program called StreamYard, which actually creates
Mm.
lower thirds of comments. So anytime somebody mentions a comment, the comment will come up and then we'll say like that particular line of text will appear to the performer, and the performer can interact with that. Because most of these other apps like Facebook, Tango, Sessions Live, and Bigo, uh, when you are performing, it's hard to look at the comment text and interact with that, right? So that's
Mm.
why we step in that sense to actually provide that stage and also interact with the audience, but so that the performer can just focus on performing and interact that way. So that's what I'm doing the most lah lately. But at the same time, I'm looking at new ways, new technology to interact. And what is speaking to me right now is stuff like Bigo and Tango. Tango for me is quite fun because I've been following people like Daniel Guezo, Don Guezo, Tristano Solano, and lately they've been doing this thing called stream party. So basically, it's like this where we can have more than one person on the stream, but these fellas are jokers lah. So it's very fun when you see them perform, right? And they make it very lively. It's not just like uh playing, no, I'm very serious and stuff like that. But the way they do it is like they're having a conversation, and while they're having a conversation, people are entertained by that. So
Mm.
I find it interesting that as musicians, sometimes we need to adapt to what the audience is doing, because the we are used as a musician, sometimes we are used like, oh, we play and then we talk and then people clap or whatever. But sometimes I feel I myself take myself too seriously lah, must play properly, and you have to play the right notes and whatever, right? Whatever wrong note, you call it jazz. But yeah, recently it's like what I see, it's very like the online space, because just as much as performers are isolated from the audience is isolated from the musicians. So I see a lot of musicians who have become either therapists, love doctors, gossipers. It's very interesting lah. We almost become like a psychological wellness coach. So I think it's really interesting time. At the
Mhm.
same time, you see a lot of dark things like, you hear of people hurting themselves, or you hear of people dying or jumping off a bridge. So
Oh,
it's quite
right,
scary in
right.
that sense lah. But sometimes when you are doing these live shows and then you are presented with a scene like this, so sometimes it's scary, but at the same time you have an opportunity to engage with this person, and sometimes that's what the audience is looking for. They're just looking for somebody to talk to. So
Talk
I
to.
think in that
Mm.
sense, it's what we all need like as humans
Yeah, I
like, we need
think
to talk to each
especially
other.
the last 1.5 years, like you say, there's a lack of human touch, and this is the least that we can do to actually at least try to reach out. I think from both ways, I think musicians need that touch with the audience, and the audience need that touch with musicians as well.
Mm.
Now, important
Yeah.
question: how much money can you make from this? Before I pass it to Teddy, how much money are you seeing? Because I really want to highlight like the huge loss of income and how you guys are coping, because Some people got no ideas. I have spoken to women who started micro businesses after MCO 1. They were taught by NGOs how to start these micro businesses and doing well, selling stuff online, whatever, jamu, kain, even little trinkets, pins, all these little things for sewing. They sell. They're making some money. So it went up. When first MCO went down, then went up. Second MCO, now third MCO is going down again. Which is why I always come to the money part. Are you seeing any cash coming from this?
I personally have started investing in the technology. As you know, as somebody who needs to use a computer, you can use a handphone, but if you compare the difference of using the tech from a handphone and computer, you know the computer is going to be more of a workhorse rather than your handphone. Because while doing all this live streaming stuff, I start to see the comparisons in technology of what you need and what works. Yes, you can do stuff with just your handphone, but the quality of performance might affect what the audience is listening to, and that in turn will affect whether they click swipe or they stay there and listen and press money to see
Mm,
you. So
mm,
in terms of money, okay, like the my friend in Singapore who started streaming in maybe 6 months ago, for them it's quite good because number one, infrastructure for internet is better, so they don't get a lot of downtime or loss of packets where the quality of the video goes down, and that gives them a very good base for their video to be clear, audio to be clear, and the audience feedback is much better that way because of that. Whereas here, I think safe to say not many are earning from the different platforms, but what I've checked out is sessions live where, here's the thing, right? If you're an audience member, you first need to know who you want to listen to. I'll take, for example, Jarat Singh. When you know Jarat Singh's link, if you know him, you can just click on the link or try to search for him, and then immediately it will bring you to him, right? But if you're just browsing, it's very difficult because Sessions Live limits how you can search, who you can listen to, because they want to control the flow of information and not just provide a platform which is direct from performer to the audience. So after fiddling with that, it took me about a week to actually find Jarat Singh on Sessions Live on my handphone. On the computer, it was easy, but on your handphone, it's a different interface. That's where the money comes out lah. On your computer, you need to key in your credit card information, stuff. So it's that added step. So after I found Jarat, so this is what happens. You go into the room, he can see you walk in, and then there is a tab where you can click on it, says request. So he has a list of songs, and each request has like a number written to it, either as minimum as one or up to 10 or more lah, whatever you want to donate, right? So as a listener, I have to buy the tokens, minimum amount of tokens, and then exchange that for the request that I want. And Gerard will see it pop up on his device saying that, oh, so it's so requested song ABC or song XYZ, and then he will respond and engage with that, and then he will continue to perform and interact with the audience in that manner. So that's one way where I see Sessions Live has a great interface, but as an audience member, it can be difficult to find the person that you want to listen to unless you're the type that just likes to scroll lah. Tango, okay, Tango for me is easier to search for who you want to listen to. Tango has a great interface for Facebook, which allows you to share whatever on Tango straight to Facebook, so that you know who to look for. But what Tango does with that digital collateral is they'll always pull you to download the app, go to your listener first, and then when you like what you're listening to, you will have to buy coins to give to your listener. So um, somebody like Daniel Guezo, for example, has been streaming for about maybe 6 to 5 months, and you can see how many diamonds they have, right? So let's say I'm a listener, I buy coins, I buy a gift, and then it goes to Daniel. Daniel converts that to diamonds. So I think up until now, Daniel has about 80,000 diamonds. And I'm not sure what the math is, but like 500 coins for a listener, you buy something like maybe 20, between 20 to 30 bucks, less than 30 bucks. So I've maybe bought about maybe 200 ringgit since I started like messing around with it, just to, I mean, it's like having a drink at the pub, right? You want to go out, you need to spend some money lah for the musicians. Otherwise, why the musicians perform there? So that's what I do. And I think they get after a commission. So Tango will take a commission off of that when they exchange the diamonds. So I think for the 6 months at 80,000, maybe you cut back another 40%. So that's about, I don't know. It could be less. I could be wrong because I'm not sure exactly. I haven't cashed out from Tango yet because I cannot stream on Tango. So I'm saying if you're asking for a real number, you have to ask these people to actually do it. Okay. So that's Sessions
No,
Live and Tango.
from what you're seeing, these guys streaming and all that, are they getting a little bit of cash from it? 200-300 ringgit
Yes,
a month,
substantial.
like that? Got
Yes,
them?
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so they mean
More,
they're
more than that, in fact.
more than that.
Sessions Live, if you see people like Gerard Singh is on it, Colin Jensen, they do spend a lot of money just on the setup. The visual quality is good, the audio is good, and you will need one camera, like one that I'm speaking to, and you need one closer to you so that you can see the comments. Because it's going to be difficult if you have your camera or handphone there, but you
Yeah, it's
cannot
like
see the comment
streaming.
because it's so far away. Yeah,
You got the chat, you got the donations coming in.
exactly.
So this is what the musicians are doing. So while they are playing, they also, I've seen it on Twitch. I'm quite
Yeah,
heavy. I'm quite heavy in the online community, so I've noticed all this on Twitch. So okay, but that's
yeah.
kind of interesting. But Teddy, would you be interested in doing something like this? Like you said, you always wanted to be prepared before you actually go online and all that. But seeing as we have maybe what August, September, October, November, I'm honestly thinking until end of the year, and only next year only we may see people boleh
I
duduk
don't think
dalam
so.
kedai. There you see, go talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me,
Okay.
Teddy.
Okay. Regarding about this tango thing, or okay, what can I say? Gerard called me a few times, right? I told you. So he told me, yeah, he made enough to sustain the bills lah, even like Jezrick. Jezrick, the keyboardist, right? Jezrick from previous keyboardist, ex Hydra. Jezrick has told me that there was one session that he did. He did not sing. You know what he did was, um, he went on live and recorded what he was trying to finish a song, So he was recording his song and it was streamed on live. He told me that he made a lot for that 4 hours of stream. If I'm not mistaken, this conversation was a few months ago. He said that for that particular 4 hours, he got about 800 bucks, 800 ringgit, man. That's a lot for 4 hours work, All right.
That's good.
Okay, one thing about me that I do not like, I'm a free bird kind of thing, I love my freedom. I don't like to be committed, like when you go to Sessions Live, if I'm not mistaken, you are committed yourself to about 6 hours of performing for a month. That might sound easy for a lot of people, but for me, I do not like that. I would rather, because for me, when it comes to music and stuff like this, it depends on my mood on that particular time. I can just sit down, have my dinner, makan, and then after an hour or two, I feel I want to go online. I can just go online, and just stream. Yeah, I would prefer like that, because sometimes it depends on your mood. I do not like to, I have to finish this assignment that I have to finish with Sessions Live for 6 hours. So I got a remaining, I got to finish it. I do not like that. That's not me. So it all depends on an individual thing. Like last year, when the MCO was a bit loose during December, I went to Kevin's place, Diluvi, right? I went there. I don't need to bring anything because normally I have a few friends like Ivan. Ivan is here, Dr. Ice from he's a doctor, right? But he plays beautiful violin, he sings, he plays the guitar. So sometimes we would call each other and say, hey, come, we meet up at Diluvis, So I will just post a few days before, I will just post on Facebook. So what I'll do is I go and perform at Diluvi. I say, I'll tell Kelvin, you don't have to pay me anything. Just let me have fun at your place, So anyway, he'll say, Teddy, would you like to come? He'll invite me. Come, I'll buy you a couple of drinks, So he'll say that. No, it's okay. I say, I don't mind whether you buy me drinks or not. You're a buddy of mine. I love because musicians need venues to survive. If we do not support venues, right, you're gonna kill the venue, and we don't have places to play in the future. So we have to support each other as much as we can, you know. So what I did was I played. So I told him, Kevin, I'm doing this for free, you know. I'm just gonna have fun. So I'll just take my time, what time, how many sets I want to do, how many songs I want to do, you know. So he said, okay, fine, let's have fun. So what I did was, while performing, there's a tip box. You know, this is one thing that I love about Penang, right? The people are very generous about the tips, because this concept of tipping is not accustomed in KL. You know, it's not been practiced in KL. You know, so this I love it, especially, you know, I've experienced working there in Rockefellers, Loft, everywhere in Penang. That when I play, there's a tip box. You see, sometimes the musician, most of the time, the musician don't have to bring the, what do you call it, a porter box, is it? Yeah, don't have to bring the box around the pub. The staffs would do that, you know, for us. It's so nice and so very kind of them. So what I did was, while performing at Calvin's place with the tips, I streamed live on Facebook also. There was one night that from the tip box alone, I got close to about 300 ringgit, which is very, very good for me. I have no intention. I was just having fun on that day. And the people who transferred into my account, I got close to another 1,000. You know, that's a lot of money. You see, all right. So that's what I said. I meant when I said sessions live and tango. You know, you have your certain hours that you need to fulfill. You know, that's what I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Okay, I would like to touch this topic that Kevin mentioned just now, about talking to a friend during this pandemic, right? As a musician, I just posted a very short posting yesterday regarding about this topic. I did yesterday, coincidentally, about talking to a friend. Right. During this time, most musicians, right, are facing the biggest question. I mean, the biggest problem that musicians are facing, especially the ones with families, little children, commitments, house, cars, you know, is a financial side, right? Sometimes talking to a friend is just going to make you more depressed and make your friends more depressed. uh, you know, you call, you want to let the emotions out, you know, face that you're facing, all those things. What can be done? There's nothing much that can be done, bro. How can I think you guys understand what I'm saying, you know.
You can't console each other, right?
Yeah,
You can't
you know,
console each other.
yeah,
It's
that's the whole
tough.
thing, right? So this I see is a very tough situation for a friend to call a friend, especially like me. Okay, example, right? Another example. On Facebook, most of my friends are musicians, you know, because that's what it's all about. They say, you know, you add your friends, who you know, you know. So when you stream online, most of the people who view will be your musicians' friends. Most of it, you know. So they themselves are going through a tough time. So how can they help to contribute? They would like to contribute. I myself would like to contribute, you know. So I will always advise my friends, which is, okay, this is something that is quite, we need to educate the musicians ourselves. When you see a friend going online or stream, you know, or post with their account number there, so that means they are working. Do not consider them, if they are not putting their account down there, you know, that means they're just having fun. But if they're putting their account, that means they're doing it seriously. They're trying to earn a living. So if you cannot contribute, I mean, I mean, you can't afford to contribute. The best that you can do is please share the posting. You know,
Agreed.
yeah, you really have to share the posting. You know why? Because you just don't know that maybe you can't help to contribute, but maybe your friends, your families who watch that video and like it, they can do something. You just never know. You just never know. You know, this is one thing that I really do not understand why it's so difficult for musicians or even friends to pick up their phone and to just press a button to share. I really, this is what I see. It is a fact that this is what I see. I understand that you guys yourself, I mean, the musicians themselves are in a difficult state, but come on, it's sharing. Even though you're tough, you're going through a tough time, it doesn't mean it might, there might be somebody out there who is willing to help.
I see what you mean.
Imagine I have always reminded the guys, everyone or whatsoever, if you like it, if you love it, if you have that extra, just one ringgit. If you have 100 people by sharing, right? If you have 100 people, 100 ringgit means a lot to a family. You might put table food on the table for the family. You might you might help the father or the mother who is doing online to to get some medicine for the child, milk, pampers, diapers for the child, toys, a small toy that would make the child smile. You just don't know. See, this is my point. I always emphasize this when I go live on stream and remind them, please share, please share, please share. Um, there's another point that I would like to highlight about this, but I can't remember. Maybe I'll jump in shortly
Okay,
when I
let me.
can.
Yeah, when you remember, just jump in anytime. So if that's the case,
Yeah.
seeing as how these restaurants are all closing, okay, pubs are, I don't know, you won't see a lot come up straight away once things get back to normal. The ones that are rich with rich backers, yeah, they can continue paying the rent in Bangsa and Damansara and all that, maintain their spot, don't let the spot go. But I have seen tons of pubs and restaurant and own, just not even places of alcohol, places where got music. There are Muslim places with music, ada band kan depan tu yang main. Ada ramai pun dah tutup. So my next question is, seeing how things have gone so badly, and for 2 years, it's not. It's coming on 2 years. It's not going to end in December. It's going to slow down, but it's not going to end. Do you think there are going to be more musicians propping up after this? If
Well, which
anybody
is what popping up.
are cropping up, do you think people are going to be interested to get into the music scene now, seeing as how it's going to be maybe take another year or two to fully bounce back?
Bro, it's a it's something that, like for me, people, I always have a lot of morons around me telling me, bro, do something else. What else can you do, bro? You know, a simple thing. I'm 50 plus, right? I've been doing this all this while. It's my passion. I love it. I cannot do anything else. I've not done anything else. Even if I want to right now, you have to consider that with my age, right? Where else at the outside, right? People who's been working for donkey years, they themselves have been retrenched, you know. So let's say it's a hotel line, a lot of people being retrenched. Me, who have zero knowledge in hospitality or whatsoever, you think they want to employ me, where they themselves get retrenched. You see, so
That's a good point.
your question was, will there be musicians popping up, prepping up, or whatsoever, right?
New
True, there
musicians.
will, because sometimes people are just born with it. Seriously, people are just born with it. It's something that you love to do. But too bad that they are going through. I mean, at the wrong time. At the wrong time. But I don't think people will still give up. I am not giving up. Even the new ones, I think they will find new ways of performing. You know, I don't know, but that's how I feel. I don't think this will be a deterrent for up and coming musicians. And even I don't think it's going to kill me. I don't think so. It's not going to kill my passion in music. I won't.
Kevin, for the ones that like the ones that are maybe around the ones in the 30s, maybe early 20s and all that, guys who have maybe decided I want to dive into this full time, and then suddenly your career stopped like that. Just say you were building and building and building, nice repo, boom, stop for 2 years. Now and then now, like you said, you're expecting the venues and you're expecting the people to come back. What's going on? Can you tell me a little bit?
I think in the span of these 2 years alone, One thing about Penang musicians, they all have this can do attitude, meaning to say, if this way cannot, you'll just find another way to get to the end. So what I've
Mm.
seen is that a lot of them have either started a different business or food or whatever, but they still have a relation in music. Another thing that some of them have done is that they gone into production, whether it's for live stream or producing records for people in Taiwan. There are a few people like Bowie Ong. He's a guitarist. He doesn't really sing much, but he's a very good guitar player, songwriter, and producer. So he has actually been helping some of the younger singers in the Chinese scene, because that's a whole different game that I'm not very familiar with. But there is a Chinese scene where they are producing online music for listeners, and he's actually gone on to produce music for songwriter in Taiwan. He signed up with Warner and Chappell as a songwriter, so that's one way out for him. So those in the 20s or younger, they are actually moving towards gaming. I know some musicians who have actually
Mm.
gone into gaming, and that is a stream of income for them. But at the
Mm.
same time, with that knowledge gained from streaming games, they've actually used that for music as well. So I think, like I mentioned before, right, it's about how you adapt. Like Teddy, as at his age, being able to stream to Facebook is no easy feat. It's actually for me also to learn at 30. It's something like something new to learn, right? But as a senior musician, right, sometimes we forget that technology is not the first thing that comes to mind. For us,
Mm.
we are still lucky. We live in a time before the internet and after the internet. We grew up in the internet time.
Mm.
So for anybody older than us, for them to actually go back down to basic and learn how to turn on Zoom is already an achievement. And sometimes we don't give them enough credit. But for the younger guys, right, I think it's difficult lah, but they will always find a way. But that being said, anybody who's younger now is living a totally different life compared to what you and me used to do when we were younger. So there'll be
That
a
is
lot of
true.
different, yeah, a lot of different aspects for them to choose. Even like, don't talk about musicians, like people who are just coming into the workforce, just graduated with a degree in mass comm. Number one thing they should have learned in college is how to live stream. Correct or not? In the
Mm.
last year, so at Penang House Music, we get interns, right? And mostly we get music interns. But particularly every year we get 4 interns from UPSI, University Pengajaran something Sultan Idris. So it's basically a teaching college in Tanjung Malim. So ultimately, if you're a student in UPSI, when you graduate, you become a music teacher in a school somewhere lah for government.
Okay, stop there right
So
there. Can we hang on?
mm,
Okay. Okay, and you were saying?
so
So
these
the
students that
youngsters.
come here, after they finish, we have conversations with them. Ask them, so after you finish school, this was before the pandemic. What do you want to do actually? A lot of them don't know what they want to do. And as a final year student, they come to us for their internship in their final year, right? So as a final year student, you ask them don't know what to do, then I think it's a problem that a lot of young undergraduates have. Some of course go on to study their masters or postdoctorate, but even that is out of reach for a large number of them. So
Mm.
I guess the bigger picture is, what's the government going to do about it lah? So, but
I don't know.
that's a whole different story altogether lah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But personally, I feel that
I'm tempted to go down that wormhole, but I'm chilling.
I know, right? The magic word.
Yeah.
Because
So tempted.
so I think what's opening up now is the different sources for funding. Crowdsourcing has been the go-to concept for tech companies, and in terms for us, Penang House Music, research document based, all this is part and parcel. We are about creating value in the documentation of arts and culture, and then being able to present the information in a way that attracts sponsors. But that is not the end goal, but to be able to showcase that this is actually something that either needs to be supported by the government or anybody who has the money to support it, whether it's I don't know, foundation or private entity or any other country
Yeah,
that wants to give
Kevin,
CSR, right?
on that point, is it vital? Like, is the music scene vital in the country? Ah,
Think about this lah.
can we do without it?
Would you have a national anthem? Would you have a state anthem?
Woo! What's up, baby? Nailed it! Oh shit! Show's over. Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. Take care. Peace out. We're done. Okay, go on, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing, right? Musicians sometimes, or music in general, is sometimes seen as a form of decoration or a luxury, but in actual fact, it's part and parcel of who we are. Let me give you a little history lesson, lah. Malaysia is known as a multicultural country, which basically means that all of the different colored people that we have here are at one point in time, the ancestors were brought here to work. And during the days when you don't have telephones or internet, if you're a worker, a laborer, a coolie, whatever, right? After work during the day, you finish work 5:30, you have your dinner 6:37 because you're hungry, right? After that, what do? You either stay in your house and go to sleep, get ready for the next day, or if you have a wife, you make a family, or if you're bored and single, you sit out in the porch at the time and sing songs, karaoke, very similar to what happens now.
Mm,
And in Penang, what's interesting is that you notice there are a lot of like streets which are named very interesting. Like you have Armenian Street, you have Lebo Tamil, you have Lebo Cina, and the reason about for this is because like in Georgetown at the time, the way it was built, right, the Chinese will stay in one section, or different roads, Malays in different section, right? So at any one time, if you walk down these roads, right, you will hear the music from different countries. People from China who came to Penang, you actually hear their songs, whether they are Hokkien, Fujian, Cantonese, whatever. You will hear all these different dialects. So music or folk music at the time was the thing that people would go to, and this things actually stuck around. It eventually led to the establishment of the what do you call this? The MB, the city council band or orchestra. And at the time, you have musicians in Penang who could play music, but they could not read music. So the British brought in musicians from India and Sri Lanka to teach locals how to play instruments like the horn, the xylophone or drums, whatever, right? Because all these are Western classical music, which meant that to play together, you have to read music. So musicians, they trained the local musicians how to read music at one point, and the information or technology was transferred to the locals. And what's interesting is that a lot of these musicians who were brought in by the British, right, after the handover of or the independence of Malaysia, a lot of these musicians who were brought in were asked, do you prefer to go back to your home country or stay in Penang? And at the time, I think there were about 47 of these musicians, and out of that 47, 42 chose to stay, which is why
wow.
now in Penang you have roads like the Sri Lankan names like Jalan Tanggavelo or Leandros Lane. All these are not Malay or Chinese or Indian names, but these are actually either Filipinos, Ceylonese, Chinese people, whether they are from, I don't know, Beijing, Hokkien, whatever, right?
Mm.
So all these things actually has a place in history, or you can actually trace it back. But the question is, what happened in the 70s? 70s for me, what I've been researching is like that's when everything changed lah. When the government took um the national culture policy and decided to kind of like rewrite history or whatever, right? So they started to dictate what should be Malaysian music versus what was Malaysian music at the time. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay, so that means what I gather here is even after things kind of come back, we cannot do away with music because you already nailed it on the national anthem thingy. We kind of need it there, and there's I am a live band guy. I always enjoyed it more than the dancing and the disco shit. I felt it was like there's something about live music different, lah, but I like my rock stuff. I'm heavy with the rock and the music. My dad used to go play golf and all that, so I hung out with him a lot, and he always was friendly with the musicians and all that. So it's always been there. It's sad to see the restaurants shut down, and it's sad to see none of you all anywhere. There's no flyers, there's no posters, there's nothing. I am happy that at least Teddy is okay because but the kids are grown. The guys like the ones you hang out with, the ones looking for Chari Makan, Kevin, a bit worried. And also for the older crowd who can't get the technology up, not enough sharing from the fellow peers. Like simple thing lah, share lah dekat you punya page. Orang nak tengok, tak tengok tak apa. Tapi you buat. Make it a not a prerequisite, but a mental note that, oh, my boy is, Facebook just notified him, my boy is online. I'm just going to share it in my
Yeah,
page. So,
just share, just to give a help.
Yeah.
Just it's so easy. It's just a click of a button. Just share. Just create that awareness. There is
Yeah.
nothing difficult. Yeah.
Teddy, like if you since Teddy you've been in the scene longer than any one of us, this is the worst it's ever been.
Very.
Worst.
Definitely, bro. Bro, I'm a musician. I miss my life.
You gotta sell that, yo. We got some merch coming up on Southern Roy's channel. We're gonna hook you up to Teddy.
No,
Get your t-shirts, boys.
no. Hey, bro, seriously, okay, let me tell you. In early March, right? We know that the fasting month is coming and Raya is coming, right? So actually I still open a shop selling t-shirts, right? No, I'm not promoting, yeah, just hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a minute. Let's
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I love this. Let's see. Hey, the t-shirt look quite nice though.
Yeah.
Yo, everyone's selling merch, right? Nowadays, you go to YouTube, a guy
That's the
has.
thing, right?
Yeah, it's the new thing. You know, the guy
Everyone has gone into online
they
shops
make
and so
designs
on.
and stuff, nice designs and all.
You know, like this. I'm a musician. I miss my life. I have a few designs like this.
This looks like a Back to the Future a bit. The font.
Right.
This is my
You
kind of
know.
shirt. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do
nice.
have. Yeah. You
All of
see,
us are
like
wearing
rock and
black,
roll and stuff
represent.
Yeah, I understand. Right. Okay, let me tell you the story. During that in March, right? So actually I opened a shop selling t-shirts like this. Where I do me and my friend lah, we have a few designs. We do our own designs. I stopped selling it for a while because there's no point. Because most of my friends, they can't afford it. They can't afford it. So I cooled down for a while. And I had to close my shop in JB a few days before Hari Raya. Fasting month was already back because the movement was already restricted at that time. So actually my shop is in Johor, my hometown, right? So my shop is closed right until now. I do not want to sell my t-shirts yet because if I keep on posting, and people can't afford to buy, and they'll get sick of what they see, meaning that the
Novelty is gone.
Yeah, the novelty and the hype is gone. So I keep it for a while, right? So I have some interesting designs that I have a lot of friends who has bought it before. Where some of those who had that extra money. So this is one of the things that I did and I am doing, to help sustain. The sales was not that good yet because I just started, yeah, but I'm trying. It's not like people say don't try something else, but during this time it's not easy even. Okay, let's say like some people say that they want to try nasi lemak, selling some. No, it's a good effort. It's a good thing. I'm not discouraging them, but you imagine how many people are doing this thing right now. You see, so actually your competition is getting higher and higher.
That's right.
And the money that how do you call it, the spending power that people have, they don't have that strong spending power. The options, the choices that they have is a lot, and the money that they have to spend is not much. So where is the money going to go to? You see, so okay, like that's why for me to occupy my time, I do a lot of things, like last Thursday, I am lucky that I have a bunch of people who are weird and funny and mad, so like today I'm going to do a live stream with my friend who is a comedian like shit, he's so funny. So I'm
One time,
gonna
Teddy?
interview in about 9.
Okay.
at about 9. So I'm gonna do an interview with him. He doesn't speak English well, so I'm gonna do the interview in English. So it's gonna be so majorly
Okay.
you know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So and then like last Thursday night, I had a friend. We did at 1 a.m. scary stories. Sometimes I do.
Hey,
Me and
I
my
love
guys
those. I love
yeah,
those,
you
man.
know,
That's
we,
awesome.
we did we did a pilot, but it's funny lah. I try and twist it to make it a bit more funny.
Mm.
So yeah, that's how I kill my time, and I kill my time not to earn money. I kill my time to kill my boredom. That's all. There's no money coming in, bro.
Straight
What
up,
can you
man.
do?
And
What
how's
can
the
you do?
how's the music skills still? Is it rusty now? You're still I better?
Actually, I have not touched my keys for close to 1 year.
Mm,
Only recently, like Kevin say, people like me who's adapting to technology, right?
mm,
So recently I have my setup, I got my mixer, I'm learning how to use these apps. That's why recently I'm not that bored much more. I'm starting to play with backing tracks. Oh, I'm playing my piano on top of the backing tracks. I'm singing on top of the backing tracks. I'm learning to use more apps. So like Kevin said, I'm learning. It's not easy though, on the technical side, but I'm lucky that in the way um during my younger years, I did a lot of recording, so it's quite easy to adapt to these kind of things. It's a matter of getting used to apps. Apps are quite difficult, but now I actually am one of the last person to even use WhatsApp. That's how bad I am with technology. Seriously,
I
I
feel you.
never I never thought that WhatsApp was important for me. If you need anything important, you call me. I can just talk to you straight to the point. I can listen to your voice, whatever that date or whatsoever. So you have no excuse whether
Mm,
you say that you didn't. Any message or what. But
mm,
now I realize how there are certain things that WhatsApp has other uses for. So now,
mm,
seriously, people laugh at me. Teddy, you don't even have WhatsApp, man. I don't even have. But now I'm learning. I'm learning how
mm.
to do editing and stuff like that. I'm learning. Seriously, I am learning.
Honestly, Teddy, I think
But
you learned super fast because I just sent you the link for the Zoom maybe what an hour ago, and you're already here. Respect.
actually, I could have done it faster. You know why? Because I tried to go through Play Store, but it was so slow. It was pending, pending, pending. But then when I click on there is another way of going through.
Mm. For the
So
browser.
lucky I'm lucky I managed to solve that.
Yeah, good.
I can't yeah, so seriously I am lucky. I am actually happy with technology. I People would say, hey, too much technology is bad. No, no, it helps. It really does help. Especially during this time. You imagine if this pandemic was struck, let's say not even far, let's talk about 15 years ago, man, I'll be dead. I'll be dead bored. I don't know what to do. What can you do?
That is true. Your skills,
Yeah.
Kevin, how are they? Because you are doing quite a few, right? You play quite a few instruments.
Yeah. I mean, I have this right here.
Correct? Oh,
Yeah.
guitar, yeah.
But it's more of like, okay lah, Kevin, do something with it. Like you have all this stuff, like just record it, put it out. That's my thinking. But doing it, like you want everything to sound good before it goes out. So that's the constant struggle lah, the artistic
Oh, you want to
struggle.
get it just
The perfect, it's perfect.
Yeah,
muy,
but
muy
so
perfectos. Mm.
yeah, but so my hack for it is like, never mind, just screw it, just go live lah. Cause go live you cannot do anything. If you're wrong lah, too bad, right? And that's
Mm.
what I'm used to doing. So I'm waiting for this. They have this like sound cards for phones or mobile. I'm
Yeah,
actually
you
looking at
told me
stuff
you
like,
wanted to buy one of those, and I want to do a show with you about mics because I'm thinking of getting a mic or a wireless headset.
hmm.
You sound super clear, man. What is that you're using?
This is a small diaphragm condenser mic going to a mixer,
Going
which
to a
is
mixer.
also an audio interface. So it's a condenser mic lah. There's a lot of options lah now. Perfect for
Yes,
what you're doing.
I've been
Yeah,
seeing the Blue Yeti and the Quadcast and all that, but I
that
don't
one
want to
all old
buy.
already.
Oh, good better one. Because I don't want to
Yeah,
buy
yeah, yeah,
something to put it in and then go in. No, I want ready made, lah, bro. OBS
yeah,
also,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
struggling so much.
yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah.
oh, can okay, we'll talk. We'll
Got,
talk.
got, got, got,
Ladies and
got.
gentlemen, stay tuned. We're gonna do a mic video of me, Junson, and Kevin. So Kevin, skills wise, you want to do what you just told me just now, and
I'm actually looking at Tango because I actually miss people. I for the longest time, the sucky thing for me about being a musician is that, especially when I was in KL, right? After you finish a gig, it's usually about 8:30, 9:30. Sometimes if your friends is playing at the pub, okay lah, you sempat to catch the last set lah. But if you're playing at a pub, sometimes when you finish, you cannot go and see others. So now is the best time for me to go and see all these other people playing, like the Solanos, the Guezos. Like, all you need now is just to find the right time when you are not performing to go and see other people perform and click that share button. Yeah.
okay, I want to get to maybe a conclusion here, like sort of, if you can, like, what do you all want to see happen now? Like in the immediate thing, like not when COVID cool down, and what do you all want to see happen now that could maybe help? Teddy can talk to me first.
Uh, of course, everybody wants everything to go back to normal, right? But I don't
Mm,
see it happening in a very, very near future, right? The most I think is going to happen, right? I do not know when, but to see five people performing live on stage in the near future, I don't see it. I don't see it. You see,
mm, okay.
what might happen is maybe you'll have a soloist, maybe a duo, maybe, in the near future, which I do not know when is near, you see. So that's why recently I am uh, learning to use backing tracks, learning to sing. So I hope once everything is a little bit loosened up, I do not like this. I am never a fan of going solo. I am a keyboard player. I like to play in a band where there's a lot of improvisations, on the spot, impromptu improv. I love that because it really makes me feel, that it's challenging. I like that challenge. I really like that challenge. Playing with certain people, it really drives me. I like that. You see, but as I say, when you're asking me what do I hope in the near future, it's just a hope. I hope that everything can go back to normal, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I do not see five people playing live on stage very, very soon. No way. We musicians will be the last bunch of people who will be allowed to work. That's what I see. I mean, you're talking about live performance lah.
Mm.
Back to pubs, back to hotels, back to restaurants and whatsoever. I see that we musicians will be the last. You know, that's what I see.
Kevin?
I think for me, what I would like to see is basically everybody get better lah. Meaning in the sense that just give the space for the performer to at least have a fighting chance. I would
Mm,
actually think that with SOPs, talking about SOPs in place, if everybody can follow the SOPs well, and including people in power, okay, um,
wink, wink.
what live streaming is now is actually busking, right? And I think the busking, the technicality of it, where it's you and against the masses, right? So just provide a space where let the musician be able to at least have a fighting chance, like 50-50 chance, have a performance space. Like what everything that's happening now, whether it's live streaming or hiburan dari rumah, there are government initiatives out right now, right? It is not the final it's not meant to be a long-term solution. It's just a means to an end. But I feel at the end of the day, the government has an active role in actually promoting music and performers, not just like take recognition for them when they do
Mm,
well overseas. um
mm,
I think in a sense what people can do is exactly what we've been talking about the whole time. Share that link. If you are unable to directly contribute, at least share the word. It's basically network marketing, like you cannot, maybe somebody else can. So I think you just need to have that awareness of what the musician's plight is at the moment. At least care about the people around you lah. Just as
There,
much as yeah,
there isn't much
just as much
representation for you guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Lawrence,
that
can sorry.
Go ahead, Daddy.
Can no, okay. I have this thing, since last year I was thinking about it. I have voiced it out, but all right. Let's talk about our main communication, government thing, which we call RTM, right? We
Mm,
all know that it's already obsolete. Nobody watches RTM anymore, right? But they have the
exactly.
resources, they have the funds, they have the
And they have
resources,
the
right?
facilities and so on. Yeah.
Correct. So
Junson would
what
know.
I'm
Junson,
trying
you
to,
jump on this.
yeah, what I'm trying to say, I said it out last year. All right. It's a very simple thing. How much does it cost for RTM to produce a production for 1 hour, or even if they buy a production, a drama, an entertainment thing, whatever, it costs maybe 40 to 100,000, 120,000, right? Per 1 hour, plus minus around that range. It depends on the production, depends on who can, right? Right. So I was thinking, why doesn't RTM go online, to upgrade their status and cater for the younger generations, So what I'm trying to say is like this: if you have plus minus, okay, let's talk about 60,000 ringgit of production. Let's say we don't talk more, we don't talk less. We go around 60,000 for an hour of production, right? My idea is why, okay, let's say if you were to pay a band 1,000 per band to perform for half an hour or 45 minutes, right? Just use green screen or whatsoever, put it inside an online content for RTM. This is what I'm trying to say. You imagine if you pay 1,000 per band, 60,000, how many bands of performance, how many performers you can make in that 1 hour budget that you have, right? Okay, definitely not 60 band, because you have to consider the editing part and everything. But
Mm.
it's going to cost you less, right? For 1 hour, that's 60,000 that you spend for 1 hour. You imagine in 24 hours that the RTM is running, how much is the production cost, right? Sometimes it's rerun, understood, no problem, no issue. Sometimes you put away the news or whatsoever. Okay, fine. But imagine in one day, how much is the production cost for RTM that RTM is forking out, right? Let's put aside a little bit. So let's say you put in content. I can go to, let's say, www.rtm.com. I click band performance. Okay, I want to hear lagu Melayu. I click. So it's based on genres and categories I want to play. I want to listen to local Melayu, So local Chinese bands, 60s artists, they sing on -1. How much cost only? I think if you pay some of the old artists who are not working, 1,000 singing on -1, right? It can be edited. It doesn't have to be live, clips, but live, even on -1. So imagine the 60,000, how much people can benefit from that. Let's say, so, and then the content will be as part of your library. It will be growing and growing and growing and growing. You see? So, and you can even put advertisements down there for corporate companies to put. It's not only on TV only. It can only be online. It can also be online. I've been trying to figure out why people don't want to watch RTM anymore. So this is one of the ways that the government can build their propaganda, political propaganda by, it's another way. It's another way. But at least we musicians have, not only musicians, performers, can be even dance routines. It can be
Right.
anything. It can be anything. Open www.rtm.com, genres, dancing, comedians. I don't understand why isn't anybody doing this. It should be done. It can be done. It's not impossible, bro. The costs are so low, and your library is going to get bigger. You attract more newer generations who will be into this technology thing. I don't know. This is what I've been trying to voice out.
mm.
Nobody.
well,
I don't know
well,
whether
June,
I don't know whether
yeah,
it makes sense or not. I don't know.
I think it does, but I think there are other stuff in play that we don't get to see. For example, like Johnson used to work in a
Mm.
kind of like government
Bernard,
Semi-government.
Bernard,
semi-government agency.
he was in the
So
radio.
yeah, maybe you can just share. I'm
Ah,
very sure that you are directives. I've been on some of these shows that Johnson has featured with the DJ. What's his name?
Jared.
Gerard. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he featured tried to feature a lot of local content, but at any one point in time, I think he had people to answer to. So I don't know. Maybe you can share a little bit about the little happenings that happen behind the
like
microphone.
Junson, why isn't there a catalog like Daddy said? Mm.
You see, the thing is, there are other interests at hand, and I think even like what you all mentioned earlier in the show, music or I say the performing arts scene is usually put at towards maybe the bottom of the list. It's not the list of their priority. Simply because I mean, it's just not their priority. That's the sad truth. And for me, that's why when back then when I was doing the show, my priority was to give, like you said, local performers. I mean, not just musicians. We also interviewed stand-up comedians. We do theaters. You know, those theater performers. Every local performers. You know, we try to feature them to give them at least a platform to showcase. And but the thing is just not there. You know, there's no interest. And the sad truth is that they are also looking towards money. And I think it's a vicious cycle, because they don't promote the local culture, they don't promote the local music scene. So the local viewers or listeners, they don't generate their interest only until when someone wins something from overseas. And oh, okay, now wow, this is a international star, we are very proud of them to being Malaysian. They will jump on every single chance for being Malaysian. Even like the day the Filipino weightlifter jump on the chance.
Look at her.
So if you look at it, there's a very good few good examples, like what I call like Zia V. She go overseas, she came back, she got famous. Wow, now everyone is going after. I mean, going for them. Same thing like the few Chinese artists as well. When Taiwan made it big, and wow, we are proud of them being Malaysian. So, the thing is, the mindset is there. You see, the support from the government needs to is a vicious cycle. As long the moment they start supporting and people start to follow, I think now the scenes is getting better because of live performance and so on. And I have to agree with Teddy. You know, RTM have all the resources. I mean, most of the government stations, they have all the resources, they have all the facilities. You know, if you see, like back then, one of the most sought after performance that we all want to watch back then, you know, back maybe in the 60s, in the 70s, is the RTM orchestra. Correct or not? People actually respected those musicians, you know, that perform in the RTM orchestra. I know it's something that, wow, you get to perform for RTM. It's the same thing like when you want to perform for the Philharmonic. Correct or not? If you can perform in the Philharmonic orchestra, is something. But what happened to that, you know? So
Yeah,
maybe we can.
yeah. By the way,
Mm.
Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra is going to cease operations.
Yeah, that's what I heard
Damn.
as well. So the music scene is struggling. I mean, in fact, even I was reading about how KL Pack, you know, Farida Marikan, Datuk Farida Marikan, she's actually asking for help already. There's nothing. She every time I mean, I'm friends with her on Facebook, and I see like Joe Hasham, Farida, they post, you know, we've been empty for a year, and it's very sad to see all this being empty. So I'm personally, I'm very passionate about the local scene. So that's why every time when there's a chance, you know, like they all mentioned, like every time there's a chance to share, I'll just share, you know, I will just share it on WhatsApp or share it on Facebook. It's just a click of a button.
Yeah, you're one of the only fellas to be sharing all the Malaysian stuff, what's happening.
Yeah.
As much as
Empty
I
halls are
can.
empty halls are much better than empty musicians' pocket, you know.
Exactly. Ay, for them, I
Yeah.
tell you. So the thing is, Like I say, it's just
There's no will,
tradition,
there's
man.
no will to keep the culture, like to
Ah,
put a catalog of Rasa
correct.
Sayang, put a like he
Yeah,
said, like
correct.
Daddy said, the Indian, Chinese, Malay music, put one classical, put one P Ramlee, put one modern, put
Correct.
one Chromox, the all XPDC. I
Correct.
thought that's a fantastic idea, man. They put the English one, the Jacqueline Victor, and then the guys from the old days,
Yeah.
Davids.
Correct.
That catalog
Correct.
all local. So kalau siapa-siapa nak cari lagu local, RTM1, TV, oh,
Yeah.
TV tak kena. Boom,
They become the
music.
patron of local music.
I like that.
Yeah.
On
You see,
that
Bro,
point,
you may,
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead.
you may, okay, when example, when my point is make it a very simple mini production, green screen, people know it as a home production kind of thing. It's not a grand thing where you need spotlights, you need prompters and everything. I perform for TV before, but it takes a lot of time. So make it a very simple thing. Okay, you pay a band 1,000, 1,005 example, where 45 minutes, each member can get 200, 300, and online. It's like there was a program like Kevin say, HDR, hiburan dari rumah, right? I love it. I respect it. I really respect the KKMM ministry, who did a fine job of helping musicians. Bro, even though that 5,000 looks like it's not a lot of money or a big amount of money. It depends, right? It might look like it's not a big amount of money, but it helps you so much during this time. It might look like it's a small amount of money, a big amount of money, but you have to remember musicians who have not worked for more than a year and a half, how much holes that they have to fill in. They have to pay back they owe people money, their backdated bills or whatsoever. 5,000 is nothing, man, at this time, especially when you're not working for 1.5 years. You pay back your backdated bills and stuff like that. No, my point is about this RTM thing. It's not a difficult thing to do, actually. It helps working musicians right now. Even that 200-300 at this moment, when you have nothing, that means a lot.
Yeah.
When you have zero in your pocket, you have that amount, it really helps. If it's ongoing 60,000 a day, a production for 1 hour, you imagine how much content you can have. Okay, let's say you cut 60,000 for that budget for one particular hour, example, right? So you take 1,000 per week, 1,000 per week, 1,000 for 1 month. You have an allocation of 240,000. 240,000, you times it for 1 year. How much content you can get along the way, and you can still make your advertisements through online. I think somebody should do it. Don't talk about like you're in an auditorium or what. Just do it like you're at home, green screen, simple editing. At least the musicians survive, entertainers survive, the people behind the scenes survive, editors, MCs, a lot of people can live. I do not know. That's just an opinion.
Well,
Yeah,
on that
good point.
note, that's why I think, like just now, cousin Roy said, it's like the only thing that seems missing is the will to do this stuff, right? It's probably because you don't have the people like us to work in the government. They need people like Daddy,
That
cousin
is
Roy,
true.
Junson.
Wrong people, wrong
You
place.
see, when Junson was
Was.
with that semi-government radio agency, at least I was on the radio. He brought other people to the radio as well. So
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
goes to show you need the right person in place,
Actually,
not
that's
like
very true,
the
man.
yeah.
That's
Okay,
quite
go ahead,
true.
cousin Roy.
No, I want to wrap because I think we've spoken. I mean, look, some brilliant stuff came out. If I've been taking notes. So if I have to sum it up, the future is going to be a little bit different. Whether we see 5 piece bands or not, unlikely, or we're not sure. We seriously need a catalog of all our local music. There is not enough promotion for local scene and not enough representation for you guys. You guys have been on your own and you've been learning how to do online, stream live, Facebook, everything in order to get $100 here, $80 there, here and there, which is only about
Most of
five,
the time, nothing.
nothing.
Most of the time, nothing.
It's only once.
Most of the time.
I would even venture to say in 1 month, 4 weeks, maybe only 2 weeks, you make 50 ringgit, 50 ringgit, or 30 ringgit, 30 ringgit. It's hardly anything because
Maybe.
competition, maybe.
Maybe.
Because competition is so bloody hard. I know I've just started this and I'm thinking this is just for fun. But you look at all the videos, everyone is doing it. So I cannot imagine how difficult it is for you guys without any help. You know. So look, I want to say thank you very much for joining. It's been very enlightening. Unbelievable. It's been a lot of fun. I love talking to you guys. Teddy, awesome. Teddy, you send me your Facebook page address. I'm going to put it
Teddy,
in
Yeah,
this.
send
Teddy,
it to me also.
Teddy
Send it to me
Iskandar.
also.
Oh, so this
Teddy
Teddy
Iskandar.
Iskandar. I'll find it and I'm going to put
Yeah.
it in the link. And Kevin, whatever you have for the museum and where you're working at, give me those links. I'm going to put it at the
Give it a
bottom.
shout out, man.
Yeah, guys. Thank you very much. I
If you
pray
have
for
a
Thank you
chance,
so
everyone.
much.
when everything goes back to normal, you all should really go to the Penang House of Music. I've been there.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
been. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
maybe we'll
mind
take
I'm
a
in
blowing.
trip.
Penang right now. I'm
Mhm.
actually in Penang right now. I would love to go.
But we are close now.
Yeah, I
Because-
know.
I mean, when
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
And
all
open
right.
I
when
wish.
things are open.
Mm.
Sounds good, fantastic.
Thank you
And then
so much, everybody.
I'll come down to Penang and visit you guys. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
stay safe, yeah.
Stay
Stay
safe,
Stay
safe,
safe,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.